So, Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. This is a return to form. Um, After the debacle that was Star Trek V, the studio really didn't want to put any more money into this franchise. But being that this was the 25th anniversary of Star Trek, they felt the need to do one last hurrah. And Nicholas Meyer was brought back into doing this, and rightfully so, given the fact that with Star Trek: The Motion Picture, they threw a lot of money into this franchise, didn't make what it was supposed to, and he was brought in to scope down this franchise, tell a story on a minimal budget, and it made money. Hence, kind of the same thing happened here. They threw money into Star Trek V, didn't make what it was supposed to, and they brought him back to make a movie, and on a smaller budget. And as far as I know, it did pretty good. Critically, I know it did really good. This movie, to me, I know everyone talks about the symbology of what was happening with the Cold War and everything. So I won't delve too much into that. I know a lot of people, the young folk, I don't think they really watch my channel too much. They really don't know what the Cold War was. I know most people my age, they're aware of what was going on. So I won't delve too much into that. From a Star Trek perspective, Captain Kirk fighting the Klingons is pretty much what defined the original series. The Klingons were the defined enemy of Captain Kirk. I think the uncomfortability of what the crew had around the dinner table with the Klingons really sold this film. When Captain Kirk is around the Admiral's table in Starfleet Command, and Spock is like, "Jim, they're dying," and Jim Kirk is like, "Let them die," there's a moment of passion in William Shatner's voice that I think we all, on some level, have. It's instinctive to hate the people that we don't like. We kind of temper that with, we're supposed to be better than that. But it's there. And for a brief moment, in what I would say is real acting genius on William Shatner's part, he lets that guard down. Captain Kirk is this, icon of science fiction, but in Star Trek VI, he's a real person. He's been affected by the death of his son that happened back in Star Trek III. He's never really dealt with that, but in Star Trek VI, we see the ramifications of the death of his son. A son that he never got to know. And that's powerful. And by the end of the movie, he's able to move past that, past the bigotry. A bigotry that I would say that we all have in ourselves toward, people, whether it's a group of people or a person or a stereotype that we have judged unfairly in one way or another. And that's where this story, I feel, succeeds. He's lived so long by hatred that he can't see past his own personal bias. And that to me, like I said, all goes back to the dinner table. These two large superpowers have to work together in order to survive. And we know they do, because this is I believe, the second or third season of The Next Generation. We know that eventually it does work. Worf is a member of the bridge crew on the Enterprise D. So we know some 80 years later, the Klingon Federation peace treaty works. So we know the events of Star Trek 6 end up working. But getting there, that first step, is a hard one. And how do you do that? So I think there's a lot of wisdom in the simplicity of the simplicity and the complexity of this script. Yes, it's a whodunit story. Yeah, there's a lot of action. The Vulcan lady that was supposed to be Savick, I don't really care for her. You could tell it was her the whole time. I didn't like her character. I don't really care for the actress that much. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I was kind of pissed that it wasn't Savick. I thought it should have been. I don't really care for the reasons why it wasn't. It should have been fucking Savick. I mean, that was the whole reason she was introduced in Star Trek 2. I mean, it would have completed that character story arc, in my opinion. Introducing a new character just to have her be the bad guy, it to me, that was... I didn't like it. I mean, some people love the character. I don't. And especially having her be a close friend of Spock. To me, I was never sold on the character, so I didn't care for it. Yes, this was a whodunit mystery story, but to me that wasn't the interesting part. To me it was more the internal look at myself, which still holds true today in the world that we live in. There's a lot of complexity in what's going on, stuff that can't be answered with black or white questions. There's a lot of shades of gray in this world, things that are still relevant. So to me, watching this film, it goes beyond those Cold War issues. It goes into internalizing a lot of things, which I think the original series was very good at. So I think this film wrapped up not only what it was intending to do, but a lot of things it wasn't intending to do. So I think as a final nod to the original series, this was a lot better a film than it was intending to be and what it set out to do. So this is a great film. And anyone who's watching the classic films, I would assume you guys already have if you're watching these reviews, but my personal take is watch Star Trek 2, watch Star Trek 3, watch Star Trek 4, and then watch Star Trek 6, because those 4 films are a must if you are wanting to be a Star Trek fan, or you're curious of what the classic Star Trek movies are. To me, those 4 are any must for a Star Trek fan to jump on or to get started, or if you're trying to kill a Saturday afternoon and you just want to binge watch something really cool, those 4 films are a must for any classic Star Trek fan. Those 4 are great films. They tie very well. I mean, the Star Trek 2, 3, 4 are the trilogy of classic Star Trek, but adding on Star Trek 6 is a wonderful add-on to that trilogy. So that's my take, and those are my thoughts. But all right, guys. Be genuine, be safe, and keep on geeking on.